hear voices. Do you hear voices? And I don't mean the voices coming from the street or the voices in a radio or on Spotify or any other podcasting or TV. I'm talking about the voices in my head. I'm pretty sure I'm the only crazy one. It's not crazy. It's just the way I am. Just the way all of us are. But some of you don't go, I don't have any voices. And then you go, that's the voice. So, I have voices in my head. How about you? Do you let them like chitter chatter amongst themselves and then just kind of run with any thought that they have? Do you like stop talking like that? I don't, like what do you do with the voices in your head? Oh my goodness gracious. I am Barbie Lee. This is Shake Talk. It is Shake Talk time. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Guess what I'm drinking? Yes, I know. If you've been following me for, 20 years. Actually, it'll be 20 years this January that I started my shakes, but only 12 since I've been doing my Shake Talk. So if you've been following me for 12 years, you know chocolate isogenics. So it's chocolate, isopro, vanilla, and a drop of mint here in Mexico because we don't have, oh my God, there's a shake drop in Canada and the U.S. right now, but that's a whole other thing, and that's not going to be anything valid when you're listening to this in podcast time. So what about those voices in my head? I'm talking to you, Barbie Lee. What about those voices in your head? There's a whole fiesta of them in there. Like, they are partying, they are yakking with each other, they are arguing with each other. They're like, that didn't happen, oh, what about this? But if you think about that, there's, and I'm like, holy crap, there's a lot of noise in my head. And this morning I woke up and it was like, actually it was 4:43. And I was like, no, I'm not getting up this early. And I didn't really say that out loud, but the voice in my head said, no, I'm not getting up this early. The other one goes, well, if you get up, you could make the beach for sunrise. Yeah, I don't want to go to the beach for sunrise. You sure you want to go for the beach? I want to go to the beach. I don't think I want to go. It's kind of chilly this morning. What do you think? Oh, I'm not kind of tired. Oh, my back. And I had this whole conversation literally before I even opened my eyes. In case you're curious, I fell back asleep and I got up at about 5 to 6 and I decided to do my meditations instead of going to the beach for a couple of reasons. Reason number one was I didn't sleep very well. And I just thought, well, if I did some meditation, maybe I'd stay. I'd sleep again. But no, I didn't. So I did the meditation twice. So here's the thing. What do you do, Barbie Lee? What do I do when you hear the voices in your head? Like, some people, it makes them crazy. And some people, like, they take medication for the voices because they're, like, really out of control, and that's a whole other issue. I'm kind of talking about the everyday average voices, the ones that you talk to and they talk back kind of thing. Sometimes they're your friends, Sometimes they're not. There's a lady that I started following on Instagram. She's like, hello, fuck nugget. And that's how she, anyways. And she talks a lot about neuroscience and so today she had a helmet on, and she's like, if you talk to yourself like the voices in your head talk to you, you'd be blocking that bitch, And I had to laugh because I don't talk down to myself, right? I've gone past that. So I thought, I don't sit there and go, oh my God, you're ugly, you're fat. I have some menopausal issues. I got some weight, a little more wrinkles are coming up in my 56th year as I level up, and I'm halfway to 57. And these things, they're a part of me, but I don't talk to myself. I don't talk down to myself. I used to do that. I managed to not do that anymore. And if something comes up, I'm typically pretty good at flipping the switch. But then something comes up. And when I'm not good at flipping the switch, I spiral into it. And then I think of every thought that justifies that one thought. Now, I don't know if you do this, right? I know that I do this. A lot of people do it. Some people don't recognize they do it, so they don't think they do it. But a lot of people actually do this. So something happened last Thursday, like today's Tuesday, last Thursday, and it showed up in my dreams last night, which is another way of those voices talking to me. And I'm like, whoa, I really need to clear this because it's obviously bothering me. It's weighing on me and it keeps showing up. And then not only, so a situation happened. And not only does the situation happen, then the voices in my head happen. And here are some of the voices. And it's, when I say them out loud, it's kind of funny to me. But obviously there's a grain of truth in them, and this is why my brain, and maybe somebody said them to me over time, and I just haven't dealt with the full issue and all that. So I'm not going to tell you the situation, because if I tell you the situation, the person listening goes, oh my God, I did that, and I'll deal with that. Like, I'll have that conversation when I'm ready. But something happened, and I was like, oh, all right, that's right, Barbie Lee. Nobody wants to give you their time. There's a racket, there's a voice in my head. It's okay, your mom forced your brothers and sisters to play with you, so obviously other people have to be forced to play with you or hang out with you. Isn't that an interesting one? And, well, maybe if you were a nicer person, they would have thought to include you. And I'm like, I'm a pretty nice person. And then I remember, I listened to the book yesterday, The 4 Agreements. I listened to it twice to get these thoughts out of my head. But they showed up again this morning. So one of the 4 agreements is don't take anything personally. So when this situation happened last week, I got angry, and then I got sad, and then I got mad, and then I got whatever, fuck them, let them, that whole let them theory. But it's still showing up for me, right? It's still playing in my head, so much so that it showed up in my dream last night. So now I'm at a place where I go, is this just one of those rackets, one of those voices in my head? Or is this true? Like, is this real? Do you know what I mean? Like, so something happened, and I wasn't a part of it. Yet I was a part of every piece prior to that. But this I wasn't a part of. And there were, a few other people involved, and I was like, okay, what happened? Like, how did I get kicked from the group? What did I do? Who did I piss off? That was kind of my thinking. And then I thought, Barbie Lee, it's not that they didn't think of you, they just don't think of you, right? Everybody's so caught up in their own world, in their own life, that in that moment, they just didn't think of me. And that has nothing to do with me being a terrible person, that I'm telling myself sometimes that I am. Nobody wants to hang out with me, no one wants to talk to me, no one wants to be my friend, blah, blah, blah. Feel like I'm, 5 years old again, 6 years old again, begging my sisters and brothers to play with me, and they won't, and it doesn't matter. That's the whole issue. And I have to step back, and this is why I listen to the book, The 4 Agreements. It's on YouTube. Just listen to it. It's 2.5 hours. I can listen to it in 2 times speed, so I get it done in about an hour. I've read the book so many times. I've done so many book studies on it. And I'm starting another book study tonight with the book. I'm not leading it, but somebody else is. But it brings up the voices in my head, these rackets, these things that play over and over and over again in my world. And I was like, okay, are they true? No, it's not true, Barbie Lee. If it was true, I'd have nobody in my world, right? So, and this is how I justify. So if nobody wanted to be my friend, I wouldn't have had 3 brilliant conversations with friends yesterday, right? That they actually reached out, okay? So I know it's not true that everybody, right? It's just in that moment where I'm feeling a little vulnerable, feeling a little sad, left out, whatever, the mind starts spinning into everything else that proves that point. And that is not a game you want to play, because you're never going to win it, Barbie Lee. I don't know, you guys are all perfect over here, pretty sure of it. Ha, right. I just know I'm not. I know that when I'm taking a look at the voices in my head, it has nothing to do with the person or the situation. It has everything to do with me. So then I get to decide, how do I react, or how do I respond? Or do I'm trying to think of a re-word, but it's not. Or just let it go, right? But do I really let it go? There's so many levels to what the voices in my head force me to do, or I get to do, because I have voices in my head, and I get to do the work. So if I'm walking down the street or something, and somebody makes some rude comment to me, or even make some ooh, nice chi-chis, or like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't affect me either way, right? If someone says to me, oh, you have nice eyes, I'm like, thank you very much. They were a birthday gift from my parents. And they kind of chuckle, and I was like, what else am I supposed to say? Thank you, and, or you have a nice name. I was like, thank you, it was a birthday gift from my mom. And, just there's things that are just fine. But then there's these things, these other voices that constantly show up. Not constantly, but when a situation arises, it shows up for me. Now, oh my God, as I just said that, I can understand why people like to be hermits and not hang around with other people, because then they don't have to deal with any of their own shit, because people are our mirrors, right? They bring out our stuff that we need to work on. And so if you don't have any friends or hanging out with anybody, you don't have anything that's wrong with you, because it's just you in your head, and you've just told yourself you're fabulous. Or maybe not. Maybe you keep telling yourself you're terrible. I don't know. Anywho, that might be a whole other conversation. But today I woke up sad because of a couple situations. One that happened last Thursday, and I was feeling a little sad about it. And I was like, so obviously there's still a piece of that I believe to be true, So I get to work on that. Well, how do I get to work on that? I get to do my meditations. I get to read empowering books. I'm reading this book. Miss Barbara, my bestie Barbara, left me this book a while ago. It was about 2 years ago, and she came to visit me in Mexico. And I love it because I can open up to any page practically, and there's an affirmation. God is right where I am. God is what I am, and all that God has is mine now. I enter into the conscious possession of this divine allness, this universal beauty, this perfect beauty today. Oh, perfect reality. So I don't have my glasses. I know that it is manifesting in my life. And I can choose to believe that, or I can choose to believe the voices in my head. Now I'm going to tell you, that one makes me feel better. I know that it is manifesting in my life. All of this beauty and juicy and deliciousness, I'm going to believe that one instead of the bullshit stories I tell, the BS, the belief systems, the bullshit I have in my brain. Do you know what I mean? Do you get it? So I tell people all the time I brainwash myself. And I'm always, alarm went. I tell people all the time I brainwash myself. I almost cut open my head and try and clean out the icky thoughts. Even last weekend, a week ago, I was in LA at this mastery in transformative training, and spent 3 days unplugged. My phone was off, just journaling, just being me, figuring out what shit's coming up for me, and helping me clear and find who I am better. I'm doing this all the time. This is why I always read. This is why I always listen to uplifting podcasts, brainwashing, right? This is why I surround myself, my Isogenics community. Oh my God, these people, some of them, I don't know all of them, but some of them, the ones I choose to hang out with, are pretty freaking amazing. And they lift me up, especially my angel, Susan Sly. Amazing. She's on this course, she did the leadership, she's in my upline in Isogenics, right? She does not have to do what she does when it comes to the team. She has a very large team. But Monday nights now, she's giving us her time again, an hour at 45 minutes every Monday night, going back to what we call Momentum Monday calls, because she wants to give back to her community that's given her so much. These are the people I love hanging out with, and it's brilliant. So how do I brainwash myself? Well, when I wake up and I have these thoughts or something shows up in my day, I breathe through it. That's a good breath, to breathe through them. Get rid of the breath. Not get rid of the breath, get rid of it through the breath. Read something, listen to something, dance to some positive music. Go swim in the ocean, walk on the beach. You know, talk to friends that uplift you. Like, there's so many things, Barbie Lee, that you can do to change the voices in your head. But you have to do the work, Barbie Lee. I'm talking to you. If anyone's listening to me, that's great. But really, I'm talking to Barbie Lee, because it's what one of my coaches used to say. When I say something, it doesn't mean anything. But when you say it, it means everything. So what y'all don't realize is when I do these little Facebook Lives, it's kind of like therapy for myself, because I'm talking to myself. It's like a mirror. And then sometimes somebody sends me a message and goes, wow, I really needed to hear that today. I was like, you're welcome. Glad to be of service. And that's part of who I am. That's what I do in my isogenics business. Like one of my team members said, she goes, I need some Barbie Lee. I just need a little bit of Barbie Lee boost. I was like, all right, I'm in, so let's do this. And even people that aren't in my isogenics teams are like, can I have a Barbie Lee boost? I'm like, absolutely. Because they know that I can pour greatness into them, because so much greatness gets poured into me in my isogenics community. Do you know what I mean? Like it's who I surround myself with, the conversations I have. So when I have those voices in my head, yes, those ones, that want to take me off track, they want to send me spiraling, I do something very simple. You want to see something very simple? My fridge. My fridge, my fridge, my fridge. You're like, what the hell is you talking about your fridge? Look. Look at my fridge. This is the top of my fridge. I can do anything. Good vibes only. You're doing great. Be yourself. Shine like a star. Whoop, dream big. This is a postcard from my buddy. Good vibes only. This is my angel, Susan Sly, left me a note. This is from my coach, another one of my coaches. Wait, trust the process. Isn't that funny? Look, Michael, trust the process. And what does it say? Love yourself, right? And then my babies, really cute little babies when they were babies. They're not such babies anymore. I remind myself every day that I'm a loving, passionate, abundant leader. And I am creating an environment of love, expansion, and connectedness for myself and the world. That's how I brainwash myself. I surround myself with people and thoughts and ideas that are going to move me forward and not keep me stuck. And when they don't, when they try and keep me stuck, those ideas, those people, those whatevers, I have to remove myself from them. That's just the way it is. And sometimes, like, I had a friend a while ago. This will be my last little story. I had a friend a while ago that I really thought was like a good friend. And we were doing some really cool stuff together. And then the more we did stuff together, the more I thought, I don't really resonate with her. There's some things that don't suit me. And then hung out a little bit more with her because, we live in the same place. And I'm like, no. And then I was like, okay, I need to like distance myself from this person. But we were kind of intertwined. There was a lot of stuff that we were doing together. So I had to like conscious uncoupling, seriously, with this lady friend of mine. And it pissed her off. Even though I came from love and, from my heart, and I just said, I appreciate everything that we have experienced in these last X number of years together and stuff. And I don't feel that I am as connected to you, and I'm feeling very uncomfortable and disconnected from what I thought we'd had, what we were creating versus what's actually going on right now. And I gave a couple of examples of why I felt uncomfortable in those situations. And she got really super pissed at me. I did everything I could to be as kind and loving. And I didn't say, listen, lady, you are a bitch and I'm just done with you. I said, this is what doesn't resonate with the path that I am currently on. And I don't want to be in that environment. And she got really angry, told a bunch of people how evil I was, and then a couple other people thought how evil I was because they just followed along with her instead of checking in with me. And then they realized afterwards that it was her and not me, and then, now some of them like me again. And you know what I mean? Who cares? At the end of the day, who cares? I need to take care of me. I need to live in my bubble. Yes, Robert, I live in a little violet bubble. Actually, mine's a little more iridescent. I stay in my bubble, and I protect my energy. But everything goes out. Love goes out like unconditionally. Now, if I'm sending you love and you're being a turd, I can love you way over there. I have no problem with that. I'm still going to love you unconditionally. It just, I don't have to like you in my space. You don't get to be in my bubble in that time, right? Because there was a lot of time in my life where I just let anybody in because I was so desperate for attention. I know you're like, Barbie Lee, what? Oh, that's a whole other therapy session. So when the voices in your head are telling you something, you have to decide, is it serving you or is it sabotaging you? Those are your options. Either what you're hearing and talking and saying and being and doing is serving you or it's sabotaging you. I prefer serving. I prefer coming of service and having my thoughts, my feelings, my actions, and my results serving me. Just saying. You may be different. Maybe you love living in sabotage. I don't know. Maybe the chaos is real. I don't know. I don't like it. Barbie Lee doesn't like it. Here's to the best Tuesday of your life.